recording.
Okay, welcome everyone to our first fall semester SME session, which is our first virtual session. We usually enjoy some hot tea during our sessions in Shiksha, so I hope everybody has a cup of tea with them, if not after the session. Today, we have a very special guest with us, Prashant Joshi with us. He is a master coach, an executive computer scientist, and also electrical engineer. He's been an IT industry management leader for the past 25 years in the US. Prashant has introduced yogic leadership principles in academic and corporate world at all the levels of management. He's here with us today to talk about mindful leadership at work and at home. So now I welcome Prashantji so he can start the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Sujata. Welcome everyone. Happy Saturday. Today is a very auspicious day in many ways that we are starting this new initiative. It's always good to have something for the first time, which is something positive. So thank you for making the time for being here, and respecting your time, we'll try to end on time around 5 o'clock. But again, this is your session. SME, subject matter expert. So I always call myself a rookie. And that way, we keep ourselves feet on the ground, head on the shoulder, and we're learning every moment. And that's what this is all about, is mindful leadership at home and work, that we do not live a disconnected life when we are in a certain place or in another place. So that's why the graphic that you see here, hope we all can relate to, as balancing, both the spectrums of our life with so many hats that we wear. So that is the idea here, and with which we, but on a very serious note, that unmindful leadership, if I may, actually does cost as well as cause a lot of misery. And our whole goal is to prevent misery, prevent suffering, COVID or non-COVID time. So hope you all are safe and sound, and again, thanks for joining. So what's the idea here, right? So again, there's a lot we can talk just on this slide, but the idea again is is to make sure that it's the weekend. Let's start with some humor here. Hope you all can see this. I'll minimize the this window, and then later on I'll actually open the floor a little bit so that we actually talk face to face. So I don't want this. I'm not trying to make this into a slideshow, but hope you see this and get a giggle or a chuckle on this Saturday afternoon, that some of the simple things in life we have forgotten. And then we, again, while we lightly say this, that how is it we are the most successful species on the planet, and yet we need to pay people to remind us to breathe and drink water. And if you really sum things up, that's what we are not doing enough, that we're not breathing enough properly, and we are not doing the basics of life, and then with which we get into trouble really. And then we try to bring some solutions that are not necessarily the right solutions, and a lot of suffering happens. And again, our whole goal here is to prevent and reverse suffering. And that's why this science of mindfulness comes into rescue. And the other one, again, it's a yoga humor that you may have seen before, that it has gone into our vocabulary. That's a good thing. It's not necessarily we're practicing everything, but we say, hey, now I gently stretch to the conclusion instead of jumping to the conclusion. So hope you get a giggle or chuckle out of this little humor. Then again, Sujata was kind to introduce us, but I always introduce us as a team at home, because without a good home team, no work is possible. So this is us, 2007, a team of 4. Two daughters, Veda and Ila, who are now 25 and 17, and my better half is Manju, Coach M. And the kids have given us these titles, so we carry them proudly. I was teaching yoga on the tennis courts in New Jersey when one perky kid said, "What should we call you?" And I said, "My name is Prashant, starts with a P." And he says, "How about Coach P?" And then we taught some, did some sessions for autistic children, and then we became Coach P and Coach M. So that's kind of us. But again, I'm not going to read this, but I'm fortunate to have my better half who's a Sanskrit Pandita and a real giver of life. So that's who we are. And but anyway, so that's that. But so what are we going to do, right? So this session is all about a mindfulness, and the mindfulness doesn't start without a thank you, okay? A praise. And first and foremost, again, thank you to all of you to to make time to be here. And as we speak, some people are joining, so I'm going to admit them. So we're going to start with a little bit of a praise of someone by the name of Patanjali, and you may know that name. And by the way, I mean, I've not asked you to unmute right now, but feel free to rather mute yourself, but feel free to mute yourself if there's any audio or any other issues. But so we're going to do a little bit of that. And then, of course, getting to know the audience is so important here, to be mindful of the audience. And that's what we will do. This will be an informal kind of way, and in a fun way. We'll get to know each other, and then we'll talk a little bit of science of mindfulness, because at the end of the day, if you forget that this is a science, then we take it this is a by the way thing. So the point I'm trying to make is this is predictable. Okay, there's a predictability here. If you do something, there's an outcome. That's the good news and the bad news. That and I'll give some simple examples of that. And again, this is kind of, as I said, we're just giving a glimpse, so that if you wish to join the course, if you wish to tell someone that, hey, join this, because this can be life-saving, this can be a career boosting, or whatever your goals are in life that you can achieve. And I'm not trying to promise the world here, but you'll see the benefit as we go along. And so that's the idea. All right. So this is a little agenda. It's important. And then stop me anytime if you'd like to. All right. Let's see. So this is the praise of Patanjali. Now, on a lighter note, I was in India last year, and I did some executive coaching sessions at big brands such as Reliance and others. And there were 40 plus executives in the room. And I asked, hey, have you heard of Patanjali? And I said, raise your hand. And a few hands went up out of the 50 people. And I said, have you heard of Einstein? And every hand went up. Okay. And then it said, okay, Patanjali, what do you know? So then, I'm not joking, by the way, this is in India, in Mumbai. People said, do you mean the brand Patanjali? Now, this is really, again, if you were together in a room, I would have seen some smiles on the faces, or chuckles, or giggles, or something. So we remember the brand Patanjali made popular by Baba Ramdev, but we have forgotten the great sage Patanjali, who has done some amazing work. And that's why now we have all these words flying around of mindfulness, yoga, this and that, and then we've forgotten what is this all about. So that's why this is a praise. I'm using these words very consciously. Okay, so we are all part of this beautiful ashram called Radha Madhav Dham, and Krishna is called Yogeshwar, as you may know. So this is Patanjali's praise written by someone. So I'll just recite that, and you may already know it, and you may even know how to recite it better, but I'll just share this in this fashion. So sit nice and tall. So again, this is an experience of mindfulness right now for you. So sit nice and tall. You're welcome to stand. Just take some deep breaths, because to have that attitude of gratitude in your mind, you need to be still sometimes. You need to just focus a little bit and bring that praise in your mindset, that you're praising someone else, not yourself. Take some deep breaths. You may close your eyes, see whatever works for you. Om yogena chittasya padena vacha malam sharirasya cha vaidyakenam yopakarotam pravaram munina patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So I just recited this praise of Patanjali, and let me just share, if you know the meaning, but even if you know it, let me just share it in this fashion. It's such a beautiful thing, and this is very, apt in context of this conversation that we're having about mindfulness at home and work. That why are we praising this great sage Patanjali, Muni? Remember, they were scientists and saints, all that combined, we call them sages or Munis. So these are human beings that have done extraordinary work. And what did he do? So he's praised for Yogena Chittasya Padena Vacham, the one who has removed the mala. Mala is in the dirt or the impurity or the toxicity of the mind through the science of yoga. The one who has removed the impurities of the speech, okay, vacha, by the grammar of a treatise on grammar of Patanjali, of Panini rather. And then Malam Sharirasya Vaidyakena. He's also made a commentary on the Vaidyak Shastra, Ayurveda, to remove the mala, the impurities of the body. So to that Patanjali, who has really taken care of our body, mind, speech, to that I bow, I say thank you, I praise. So now you see, we are all Patanjalis right now as we speak, because we are all trying to cleanse our minds, cleanse our bodies, and cleanse our speech, so that a beautiful thing comes out of our mouth that pleases ourselves and someone, so that some good action comes out. So that's why it's a training of the body and the mind to be mindful of praising someone, okay? Not so much that because we want something, because it's just the inherent nature of who we are to be grateful in gratitude. So that's why I share this in a boardroom setting, in a classroom setting, as well as in a homeroom setting, all right? So with that, I'll take a little pause, and I'm going to stop sharing so we actually can see each other. You're welcome to unmute yourself so that we actually can have a conversation, because I would like to get to know each other. We should get to know each other. And the way we're going to do this is mention who you are, why you're here, and what would you like to get out of this if you were to attend a course or even otherwise, right? Even on this is, what would you like to get out of it? So just again, say your name, who you are, and why are you here. So I'll just open it up. There's no hierarchy here, so volunteer, just open up and say it. That's our little introduction. And I'll give you a floor if you'd like. You need a spotlight. Feel free.
I think it's fine.
Okay.
This is fine, huh? So I can go first. First of all, I want to thank you for taking the time. I think everybody's been home for quite some time, and I think just the word mindful, being mindful, thoughtful, and showing gratitude, I think it means a lot today than in any time in the past, because we have the time to reflect, what's happening and who, what we do and who we are, kind of. So I think that was something that made me curious to attend your session. So I want to thank you. And my name is Sujata.
Thank you, Sujata. Okay, beautiful. Next.
I can go next. Hi, everybody. I'm Anaga. What I want to learn from this course and in general is like, I always feel that I'm doing so many things. And when I'm doing a certain thing, I always think about how much I have to do the other thing. So I want to learn from this course is that whenever I'm doing one thing, I want to completely dedicate to that, like complete mindful attention to that work, finish it up, and then move on to the next one. This is what, I always feel like very overwhelmed with things I'm doing. So if I happen to join this course, I would like to learn that.
Thank you, Anaga. I appreciate it.
Okay, this is Sanjay. I'll go next. Sorry, I don't have the camera. So you're just seeing Prashant's beaming face over there. Again, I like that description from the flyer that Prashant provided. He's treating mindfulness and yoga as the superset of the entire yoga itself. Mindfulness, leadership, and other things. Yeah. So that's it. Yoga is basically, it combines everything. It's the yoga, it joins and combines everything. So definitely, I have this thing at the back of my mind that I did not get exposed to yoga when I was like a child. And some of my, other, counterparts were fortunate enough. But as I kept learning, but then various other things kept coming one after another. didn't have enough time. So maybe again, as Sujata said, everybody is at home, and at least hopefully we are cutting down on the commuting time, errand time, something like that. So maybe can we utilize this and then maybe explore that perspective as to how to bring more mindfulness and look at the positive side of things in general. And also, as he says, like leadership is not just for like somebody at the top and he's just going to call everybody to do something or something like that, but it is basically to take charge of things and kind of improve your work-life balance. So hopefully we'll give some more insights, and we'll go from there. Thank you, Prashant, for taking this time to introduce us to this course.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Very nicely put. Okay, just
Yeah,
want to
I
make sure
can
there's nobody waiting.
go next.
Yes, please do. Pardon me. I'm just
Yeah.
allowing. Okay, go ahead.
No, that's fine. Yeah, thanks, Prashant, for taking this session. So usually, when most of my day, I keep thinking about mind, like how all the impressions are on our mind, like all the information that we gathered since we are born and whatever we see in the society. And the reason I joined this course is, this session is, I want to understand what is the mindful leadership means. So.
Good. Well, thank you. Thank you for, yeah. And in the highlights you shared, you already showed your mindfulness. So that's beautiful. So thank you.
I mean, just before this session, I was listening to Krishnamurti. I don't know if you know T.K. Krishnamurti.
Yeah, yes.
So I was just, it's like all the things from our childhood, right? Everything is an impression on your, it's like suppose you have a pen drive and then whatever information you put on it, and we think based off that information, and which is most of the reasons for our sorrow, because we go with the society or with the information that we have. And he says we need to observe it like an independent person, or observe it, not like take out the I from it and look at the issue.
Right. No, thanks, Gopal. Appreciate it. Yeah, as I said, we'll talk more on this. So next, who is, again, those who just joined, we are doing a little intros. The way we are doing it is say who you are and why you are here, and yeah, what would you like to get out of it? So just a little brief intro so that we get to know each other. We are becoming friends here. Go ahead, next.
I can go next, if that's okay.
Yes, please.
Yeah, Shalini, and Bhavil, I found out this thanks to Sujata for sharing about this. So what intrigued me was mindful and leadership in the same context. So that is what really was, I was curious about it. But also, in line with what the leaders of a company are. So it doesn't just make sense for one person to win, but if we empower other people to win and we be mindful about that. So that's why I was kind of curious, and also in line with, our company actually merged with another Dallas-based company, which is based on conscious capitalism. So, we did touch upon, we went over a conscious capitalism webinar yesterday within the company, and they do talk about mindfulness and leadership. So
good. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Shalini. Welcome. Yeah. Next.
And thank you for doing this.
My turn. I was invited by Sujata, a very dear friend. Of course, I didn't know very much about it, but I do know that I work with the kids, and anything that I can do to help empower the kids to be more stronger and more calmer and more able to navigate through this crazy time and through all times throughout their life. That's something that I want to learn how to do better. For myself and for them.
Good. Well, thank you, Brajrani. Welcome. And as I said, I think I've met you before during one of the visits, but welcome. And you, I can say, partly I envy you being in the ashram. You're that beautiful charge, and you already are mindful on so many levels. So a lot to learn there. Okay. So thank you. And who's next? Anybody else left? Did we get everybody? Just want to make sure. All right. We have 7 participants. Oh, okay. There's someone else waiting there. Oh, Aditya Rao. Okay, let's see. Give me a second. I'll want to make sure. Okay, admit. Okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure nobody's waiting there in the room. Okay, I see 1 or 2 people. And then what we'll do is we'll get them introduced later so that we. Okay, but everybody welcome. Again, it's 4:28, respecting everyone's time. We're just getting to know each other. But in that same context, if I may, as I said, we'll get to know each other more as we go along. But let me start with some practice because, talk is cheap, practice is hard. Do we agree? We all have learned to, and we give so much importance to the so-called IQ. Did anybody want to say something? So for the next couple of minutes, if you don't mind, I'm going to just spotlight myself. Not that I'm trying to hog this thing here, but so that, again, the whole idea here is very simple, that practice is hard, talk is cheap. And we talk a lot, we become armchair quarterbacks, we think, analyze, but the word for action in Sanskrit is achar. Okay, that's why the teacher is called acharya. The one who does arya acharan, the one who does noble action is a teacher, and we are part of the Shiksha team here. So this is very apt to have this conversation. And if you come to our little humble house here, we have a little sign that was made 20 plus years back, says achar vichar. We don't say vichar achar, we say achar vichar. Achar comes first, then comes vichar. Vichar is analysis, achar is action. And our idea right now is to first do some action. All right. So that's, I carry a little singing bowl with me here. Okay. I also carry a little heart with me because without heart, there's nothing, right? So we'll always have a heart in whatever we do. And that's part of the heartfulness, mindfulness. All right. So right now, folks, I have a lot of dry sense of humor. So bear with me, but be at home, feel at home. I'm sure, I hope you're at home and you feel at home right now. So 4:30 in the afternoon, however your day was, our intent that matters. Intent is to be at ease. And the more ease we have, the less dis-ease to think about. Now, this is a very big statement I just made. So our intent for the next couple of minutes is to be at ease. What a beautiful word. And we lose our ease on a moment-to-moment basis because he said, she said, that said, it said. But right now we're going to be accountable for our action. So your feet on the ground. Hope you're feeling those, feeling that ground without any crutches called socks. It's a summertime still. So feel that floor against your feet. That's part of your mindfulness. Feel your head on your shoulders. Feel your neck at ease. You can even do a little gentle movement of your neck, your head, like a radar. And I'm consciously keeping my eyes closed because 80% of our energy leaks through our eyes. This is science. So much energy leaks through our eyes. No wonder we are a tired society. And I ask people, have you worked on the farm today? Well, Gopal just worked on the farm, yes, on the yard. But not too many of us are actually working hard with physical labor. So what is it that it's making us tired? It's the mind, it's our thoughts. So again, next couple of minutes, you're going to be at ease. And we call this ABCs. A for aware, a very important word that you're aware of your body from toes to your head. You're aware of any tension, any tingling, just aware. That's about being mindful. You're not doing any corrective action, no intervention, just aware. That's your first step. Your toes, your ankles, your calves, your shins, your thighs, your bottoms, your hips, your lower back. You better be aware of your lower back. It's talking to you. Listen to it. 1 million fractures happen in this country, spinal fractures, more in the lumbar region. So become aware, be mindful of your lower back. Upper back, Your belly rising and falling with your breath. Your shoulders, your arms from shoulders to the fingertips. Become aware. Focus on your face. Now we all are kiddos at heart. We have kiddos at home. So become a little silly right now. Open your mouth wide open. Stick your tongue out and make some noise. You're aware of the tension in your jaw. Many times you are not aware of the tension in the jaw. So I'm trying to make you aware of that tension. Your eyes. If you close your eyes, you see that darkness, beautiful darkness, the melatonin effect. We are all a sleep-deprived society. We are tired, then nobody wants to be mindful at home, at work. It's a drag. Monday is coming. It's like the Game of Thrones thing, winter is coming. So become aware of the eyes, close, enjoying the conservation of your energy, your forehead, your head, the front, the middle, the back of your head. So that's your body scan, your basic mindfulness 101 of your body. And now become aware of your breath. This is where the action starts, a little fun starts. Put your hand under your nose. You may be feeling the breath. Hope you're feeling the breath. That's my lighter moment. If you're holding the breath, that's a little dangerous. Don't hold the breath, just let go. You're feeling the breath, your right nostril, left nostril, both nostrils. Become aware. You're just aware. Remember, you're not consciously regulating the breathing yet. So you become aware of your body, become aware of your breath. Now become aware of your thoughts. This is the $1 million thing. Simple statistics, 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day. 80% are negative, 95% are repeated. Now you know why we are a tired society. Negative thoughts come first. I'm sure you have met naysayer in your life, including yourself. No, it can't be done. So become aware of those negative thoughts. Just get a giggle or chuckle. How negative can you think? We go past. Oh, that year you said that to me. That year is gone. That moment is gone. We are right here and now. That's what matters. So become aware of those negative thoughts. So that's your baseline. Now the magic happens. Take a deep breath. Just let go, let go, let go, let go. You're exhaling slowly, no rush. Take a deep breath in. Let go, let go, let go. Belly button goes in all the way as you exhale. Inhaling slowly. And as you restore the rhythm of your breathing, you are restoring the rhythm of your life. At home, at work, at school, wherever you are at ease. That's what happens. That's the power of your breath, power of being in the present with your breath. Slowly but surely, C for calm comes in. So A for aware, B for breathing, C for calm. And now enjoy the singing bowl. Just enjoy the vibration coming from outside. You all have heard a beautiful Ghanta Naad at the Radha Madhav Dham, at your home, any other temple, churches. You're building a habit. I just use the word habit. We're learning to breathe slowly. We're learning to exhale. We're learning to be mindful of the present. And now I ask a trick question, and that trick question will go to the organizer, if you don't mind. Sujata, do you have a singing bowl with you? And you're welcome to unmute yourself.
No, I don't.
Okay, good answer. Anybody else? It's a trick question, so there are only a few answers possible. Anyone else? Do you have a singing bowl with you?
Yes, I do.
Okay, well, so Shalini just spoke. All right. So if that's the case, someone doesn't have it, someone has it. The good news is we all have it. We have a beautiful vocal cord we're going to use. So lips closed, take a deep breath in. A deep breath in. And the third one, I'll be in a listen mode, whether you are muted, unmuted, doesn't matter. Take a deep breath in. Don't feel shy. And relax. And you're welcome to unmute yourself and give me just a couple of spontaneous reactions, okay? Spontaneous, don't think too much. How did that feel? We spent about 7-8 minutes. How did that feel? Being mindful of the present, the body, breath, the mind.
I think I felt calm.
Okay, calm. Calm is a good word. Anybody else?
Relaxing.
Relaxing. Okay, good. Any other word?
I felt aware.
Aware. Okay, good. Okay. You know,
I'll
it's
use
funny.
your own word.
See, you know, it's important. Okay, go ahead. Anybody else? You know, since we have a small audience, intimate audience, feel free. We don't have to be police here and to say only a few
Yeah,
people.
Prashant, I'll use your own word, at ease.
Oh, that's beautiful. No, again, but you know, it's funny. I do this with kiddos a lot, and kiddos come up with beautiful words: tranquil, serene. You know, they are just, you know, they are not. And some people just cop out and try to, you know, again. But it's a beautiful experience to be spontaneous, and this is a big learning, by the way, folks. In the name of everything, we live in good houses, you know, and we are not spontaneous. We are very calculating. And calculating, yes, you need to be for certain things, but be spontaneous. If something is good, smelling good, say, wow, it smells good. We're even so reserved in giving our feedback. If something tastes good, something, and then the other person who has put a lot of effort in something, that person feels so little when you're not appreciating that beautiful thing that happened. You see, and that's about being mindful. Am I making sense?
Yeah, perfectly.
And we practice something, right? So because this is not about analysis, it's about action. So let me now go back to the slides a little bit, if you don't mind. So we just, as you saw, we got to know each other. And I know some of you have joined a little later, so we didn't do our intros, but we will get to know you. So we got to know you, what's on our mind. You kind of, some of you said. And again, this is a fun thing that I want to share. You know, when we moved to Austin, people from New Jersey after 16 years in the East Coast, people say, oh, you're going to Houston. And I jokingly say, hey, don't insult me, please. No, no, no. We chose Austin for a reason. A lot of, you know, analysis happened and destiny happened. Someone was watching over us. So there's a line from Apollo 13 says, Houston, we have a problem, right? We all know that line. But the paradigm shift that we want to do, and that's what Patanjali, by the way, teaches us also, and all the gurus have taught us to, you know, do something, go against the flow. So now you see the slide here, which shows a limitless ocean and limitless sky meeting each other. Okay, this is a PowerPoint background, so I'm not taking credit for it, but you see the symbolism here. Okay, yeah, there are infinite number of problems. Okay, but the good news is there are infinite number of solutions out there. So we say, hey, Houston, we have a problem. Austin, we have a solution. Okay, so that's one of the punchlines of this whole session, that we got to be solution oriented, not just saying, oh, I got this 10 lists of problems. And that's why many times if you see in a vocabulary, I say, I have to do it. Oh, I have to cook, I have to clean, I have to, you know, do this, I have to work, I have to present. The have to. The have to part has a different attitude versus, hey, I need to, I want to, I must, you know, I ought to. So this is just a little vocabulary. Become aware of that vocabulary. One of our gurus used to say, don't say grab, I'll grab some food. You know, who are we to grab food? There are people who don't get any food. So let's have some reverence towards even getting the food. These things people will say, don't be so, politically correct about everything, Prashant. And that's not the idea here. But the idea is about being mindful of our vocabulary, mindful of what we say. So that's why this is all, okay. That's the idea here of, yes, we have problems, but we have solutions. That's the good news. So I want to start there with the good news that we are going to talk about solutions, and whether at home, at work. Make sense? All right. So this again is talking about gurus, right? This is just a little pictorial view of one of our gurus, is Dr. Rao, a really great visionary, but he was not charismatic. He didn't have the so-called marketing wisdom and so on, but he left his body in 2005. But it's worth sharing the reverence towards this great, he was in our lives directly. He was a direct disciple of Chinmayananda and so on. But again, we, as I said, we are students of science, so we talk about gurus in the context of this reverence and gratitude with which we do things. So that just sharing that a little bit. And then this is one picture from New Jersey days, but this man on the right side, is 94 years young right now, okay? And he got a Padma Shri from the government of India for his work on spreading yoga in every household. And I just was sharing that with you. And he was the first one he came to New Jersey on Guru Purnima saying, and he graduated our first batch of yoga teachers. So just sharing that little reverence towards the teachers who have molded our lives. So it's, and I met with him last year, 94 years young. I had lunch with him and so on. But now this is where the fun starts, right? So that's little action for you. So, as Sanjay was saying, this word mindfulness, yoga, I mean, so much vocabulary. And now, as you may know, mindfulness is a so-called $1 trillion industry. Yoga is a $1 trillion industry. People are just, and they're compartments. And the obnoxiousness that now I have after 25 plus years of working is let's clean up the vocabulary. So I start with definition. That's why it's a science of leadership. I say science of living, because we have forgotten these words, what they are. Okay, so you go back to Shiva time, Rama, Krishna, Buddha, to John Kabat-Zinn, who made the mindfulness popular in the Massachusetts Mass General Hospital, to the medical community, and people who shy away from denominations, say, oh, it's not religious, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of a little quick glance of the history of from 10,000 years to now, and this vocabulary has come into. So I always say yoga is a superset of mindfulness, and because we have definitions, once we use those definitions, then everything becomes clear. All right. So that's a little sharing here of the time. Now this is kind of a slide that we can literally spend an hour on it, but this is giving you a little glimpse here, okay, of why we call what we call. And then Shalini said she was intrigued about leadership and mindfulness all in one. And this is, by the way, published work, so you can look at it. It's Yogic Leadership and Mindful Leadership published and presented, and it's on YouTube and so on and so forth. So what is this all about, right? Science. I mean, we are all students of science. Whether you carry that title or not doesn't matter. Electrical engineer, scientist, or no matter what, or you're an artist, that's a science itself. So the point is, without definitions, we cannot move forward. We have to define things. So mindfulness is a definition. And the definition says that awareness and observation of the present moment without reactivity or judgment. So as you know, we are very judgmental people. We all are. Let's not deny it, right? As soon as I see it, look at a person, say, yeah, that person, well, first again, something negative comes in our mind sometimes. Well, he's a little short, or she's a little this, that. But here right now, we're just being mindful without judgment. So that's your first step. Okay, and again, a simple example, I'll again give you the lower back issues that we all have. You first have to be aware that there's pain in the lower back. That's being mindful. And then comes yoga, which says, I can solve that problem for you by doing X, Y, Z. So mindfulness is of being aware, then you take an action on it, and then you get an outcome. That's kind of the process. So that's why this can be talked about in a boardroom, in a classroom, or a homeroom. Is relevant at all aspects of our life. Make sense? So that's kind of the definition. And now comes the definition of yoga itself, because again, in the name of everything, whether it's yoga at Radha Madhav Dham or anywhere else, definitions, nobody actually thinks, people think of yoga as a downward dog, upward dog, which is fine, by the way, which is beautiful. We all need to do that, but comes back to definition. As Sanjay was saying, I think Yuja joining, but even the basic definition, as Patanjali says, is Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Calming the vibrations of the mind is yoga. Okay, so now again, we practice calming. Sujata said she felt calm. Someone said she felt relaxed. So we have to practice this calmness. And that's what yoga is about, the vibrations, right? The singing bowl gave you those external vibrations. Then you produce internal vibrations. And that's how you are mindful at the moment-to-moment basis, with which you act. And then you actually prevent many issues, by the way. And this is the serious conversation, okay? So, what does the word health mean, actually? So that's why these simple definitions matter. And that's what we'll do in the course. Actually, I see some more people, looks like they want to join. Give me a second as allow people to come in. But so that's the thing, right? The definition of health by WHO, the World Health Organization, is a sense of a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, not merely an absence of disease. And then comes the word disease. What is it? And, we said, what's our intent for that centering that we did? Was ease. And I came in this country 33 years back in 1987, and I had a thicker Indian accent. I proudly carry my Indian accent, but I used to say disease. And people corrected me in New York, say, oh, don't say disease, say disease. And then I realized, hey, whatever you may say it's a state of ease or dis-ease. And this is where, again, the punchline comes, that anger is a state of dis-ease. If I'm angry all the time, well, yeah, you can be mindful of your anger. That's not good enough. And you can sublimate that anger. You can let go. Take a deep breath, let go. Then you go in the state of ease. So that's why this becomes anger management, anger reduction, anxiety management, anxiety reduction, sadness, depression management, depression reduction. That's what this is all about. So again, the words have a meaning, root meaning within Latin, Sanskrit, whichever language, but it matters. Disease is dis-ease. Meditation is meditare, okay, to contemplate, or medere, to heal. And then it comes back to the science that some of you already know, maybe some of you are medical professionals, but no matter what hat you wear, by the way, we do this with doctors. Doctors are being, helped by us, and we are fortunate to have a very strong relationship so that the medical community actually practices this mindfulness so that they can take care of their patients better. There's less sedation, less medication, and more healing and more resilience. And resilience is a very good, big word now, I'm sure, in the workplace and so on. But these, again, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but you see these hormones, adrenaline rush, we talk about cortisol, all the so-called stress hormones, and then the happiness hormones. And we're going to practice some of those. We already practiced some of those, by the way, already. By praising someone, we actually get some of those happiness hormones going, and we'll practice a little bit more, okay? So that's kind of what this is all about. And then the final thing I'll say here in this whole context of practicing mindfulness at home or at work is your intent matters, right? If Sujata says my intent is to be miserable, yeah, misery will follow her, okay? That's how it works. That's why your intent matters, what you intend every day. So what happens in a puja room also can happen in a boardroom. Okay, puja room is not different than a boardroom. And that many times a boardroom behavior, even for most sacred of the institution, it's not necessarily very sattvic, very, very mindful. And that's the unfortunate part. And that's why leadership is where we have to get to, is the so-called top down. And coming back to leadership, I mean, I'll talk about this in the course itself, that we have defined what leader means. L means what? What's an attribute of a leader, right? The way there are attributes of, say, Krishna, for example. I mean, again, we talk about Radha Madhav Dham, we talk about attributes of Krishna. Krishna is called a Purna Purushottam, okay? He has attributes of being bold, being righteous, and so on. And we have actually taken those attributes from those ancient leaders like Rama and Krishna and Patanjali, and we have come up with 6 attributes of leader, spelled as Leader. And then we actually, I talk about that in the boardroom, but not just talk, but actually experience them. All right. So that's the context. That's the methodology that we're using here of intent, action, outcomes. And it becomes so simple even for a 5-year-old to practice. Okay, that's why this, the words, actions, you must have heard this acronym WATCH. Okay, words, action, thoughts, character, habits. Okay, and that's what this is all about. So let me again stop sharing a little bit if you don't mind. And yeah, but maybe after the slide, and then we'll again have a little conversation, Q&A, and then we'll how are we doing on time? It's 4:53. All right, so you're getting an idea. It's not so much about practicing yoga on a mat. It's about getting the mindset right. And then with that comes the right thing. And this is our own little definition of what yoga means is your own great asset. Your body is an asset. Your mind is an asset. Let's use them wisely. All right. And that's what this whole practice is all about. But it's not so much about doing a 1-hour yoga class or something, because that may not actually do the thing. So with that, I'm going to actually stop a little bit here, take a pause, and I'm going to stop sharing, and then we'll have a little Q&A, and we'll end again with practice, okay? So let me take a pause. Anybody? So far, so good? Was it good use of your time? Feel free to say otherwise. Okay. Is everybody still muted? I'll unmute them if I need to.
Yes, it's definitely good. Yeah.
All right. So feel
good.
Again, feel free to be very honest, authentic, and spontaneous in sharing. But you see, the methodology here is about 1 hour every week. Let's practice mindfulness. And practice doesn't mean, again, practice comes in so many different ways. And that's why these words really have a beautiful meaning. The word ahar, I'm sure some of you know the word ahar. Ahar is to intake. And the intake doesn't just happen through the mouth. It happens through ears, through, all these. So anyway, but let me stop talking. Let me listen. Okay. Anybody wants to volunteer?
Yeah, I just wanted to say it was really valuable because, we all know about these terms from different places, but you've really beautifully put it all together and how it all plays. So thank you for sharing that.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Shalini. Anyone else? Brajarani.
So far, I was thinking
go ahead.
ahar means food.
Yeah. say, Gopal, sorry, I interrupted you.
I was thinking ahar means food so far.
Well, which is true, by the way, which is true.
It's
and
intake.
the food comes from, not just from here, but from the Ashta Chakra Navadvara.
Yep.
We have 9 doors to our body. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Food for your thought and food for your body. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone else? Brajarani. Howdy.
Well, obviously, I also am a yoga teacher, which I forgot to tell you. So I think when you do the yoga, and especially all my years here at Radhamala Dham, learning under my spiritual preceptor, Sri Kripalaji Maharaj, mindfulness plays a very big part, obviously, but one of the things that really puts the icing on the cake, you could say, is also bringing that that grace of God into your heart. So that kind of takes the mindfulness and brings it to a whole other beautiful, sweet level. And it's all important. And you have to start everywhere, and I think what you're doing is bringing all of this richness of the tradition, which is very needed in this world. I think that any kind of positivity that you are putting together that brings Hinduism into a positive light onto the masses is extremely important. Extremely important. So I thank you.
Good. Well, thank you. Nicely shared. I appreciate it. Anyone else? I mean, those who joined a little late, sorry, I couldn't get you to do the introductions. Feel free to say something so that nobody is completely quiet and someone who had oral surgery is allowed to be quiet.
I think what
so I have
I
a question.
go ahead.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead,
So,
please.
Yeah, I just want everybody to go, if you don't mind. Yeah, no, if you don't mind, Gopal, if I may just, sorry, if I may, I just want everybody to give it an opportunity to say something, and then absolutely, I'll be here beyond 5 o'clock if needed. I do have a 5:30, but as I said, I'll stay answer any and all
that's
questions.
fine. Yeah.
Anybody else that haven't spoken yet? If anybody has anything to say, feel free. Grishma, I see Ganesh. Do not feel shy.
I just, so is this, I joined a little later, so sorry, couldn't hear the first part of it, but whatever I practiced, I did feel good about it. So are you guys, is this planned for every week or is this just the one session? I just don't know much. I just saw the invitation and just joined it.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I do have that one so-called last slide there, but I don't. It's not so much to share a slide, but the idea here is that this mindfulness course I plan to do as a 12-week course.
Okay.
So that, because as you know, habit building, we saw
Yes,
that the last acronym is the WATCH. So we got to work at it. It's a really beautiful work, and with which you become, that transformation happens at the individual level. So it's a 12-week course that we are planning from October to mid-December. Again, that's why as the group gets formed, we'll decide, but it's a 12-week course. 5-6 minimum, I think, would be a good idea, so that we have a nice little camaraderie there. And but that's the idea here. There's a 12-week course is what we're planning here, and then we'll continue this in many other ways. But that's the idea. So thank you. Was that Grishma?
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
Yes, that was Krishna. Thank you. I'll be looking forward to that one. Thank you.
Anyone else? And then I do owe Gopal something here. But Sujata, you wanted to say something, or you're doing multitasking, aren't you? sorry, I have to pick on you. This is and that's well. We'll
no,
spend.
I was just writing to you because I have to step out for my deployment.
Please do.
Before I leave, I wanted to mention that I really liked how you categorize the number of thoughts we get, and majority of them start off with negative. I think that makes me conscious now, that to say, when I have a thought and I don't feel good about it, did I start negative? So I think, some of those things, I think they're going to stick with me, and I really appreciate you taking the time. So Sanjay Bhaiya and Anaga are going to stick around, but I'll be off to check my work, but I'll be back if you're still here. So
okay, bye. Yeah. Take care. Thank you. Appreciate it. And yeah, so Ganesh, I think we haven't heard from you, but again, no compulsion here. Go ahead.
Hey, sorry, I joined a little late. Probably it's 10 minutes before, 10 minutes to 5. Just checking, I didn't get much chance to look at the slide also. Is there some other resources that are shared that we can look offline?
Yeah, first of all, we are recording this session, and I'll send a recording to, I guess, Sujata, and she'll send it to you folks. That's one. There's tons and tons of material out there on the website, as well as in YouTube and other places. And that's the idea of this course, that it's really about not outsourcing it, but really to say, hey, let's be accountable, let's do something, commit to it, and then you see the transformation happening. And that's the learning that we all need, is a committed learning. And that's the idea behind this course that's coming up. So, right.
All right.
Good. Awesome. So again, I'll quickly share this last slide, which I had, and then Gopal, feel free to continue with your questioning, whoever has a questioning. This was my little meditation at the end, but we'll, as I said, just this is what I had as a last slide, so to speak, to say what are we planning here. It's a 12-week course. Maybe 4 p.m. on Sundays, 4th October to 20th December. Again, this is a placeholder, but as a group gets formed, we'll do this in the next week or two, and with kind of affordable tuition. So that's the idea here. All right. So with that, again, it's my little thank you to you, who we are and what's this all about. So really appreciate all of you taking time. And as I said, I'm going to stick around here for a little bit longer. Feel free to ask any questions. And I'll still continue to record, or if you think I should stop recording, I'll do that as well. So, Alrighty.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And
Okay.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Namaste. Radhe Radhe.
Okay,
Radhe,
so
radhe.
yeah, Ganesh and others who joined late, again, as Prashant was saying, he